Good morning. All right. So I do a whole lot of things for work, but one of the things that I've done consistently for the past 6 years or so has been an Uber driver. And I would say that for me, I go out later at night. I typically do bar pickups. I work some obscure hours, and I do that very specifically because I love my little kids and I'm just trying to make it work. So I'm working when it's convenient to work, and I have a pretty high tolerance typically for difficult people. And so I'll get myself a cup of coffee and I will start Ubering in places where could be a situation. That being said, living in tourist town most of my life, and for the last 12 years here, I have noticed that most tourist people just trying to get from A to B. No one's even controversial. Most of the time it's, you know, a lot of just fun stories. But this particular character, I picked him up, and I think this is an important story to tell because through it, I want to say that I learned from it and I learned what I could do differently next time. So here's what happened. I picked up a person, and they were clearly intoxicated when I picked them up. And that happens a lot. I mean, I'm the driver, they're not. Good for it. So they're pretty intoxicated. I typically get a good look at someone when they get in my car, and I could tell that if you're sober, it's here. If you are not functioning, you're down here. Dude was like middle, okay? So he's already going out, he's already pre-gamed, he's already ready, and he wants to go to a bar that isn't the most upstanding of bars, somewhere that I have not gone inside myself, although I do go out. This is not one of those places. And the thing is he expressed that he didn't really want to go in there. That tells me that there's a good chance he's going to go in there and do something he probably shouldn't be doing. And what I mean by that is, like, nobody goes to a bar that has a terrible reputation for a couple of minutes for a good reason. Okay, so let's just say that I was already involved with someone to possibly go do something unsavory, like when this started. So he's like, well, I'm only going to be here a minute, so maybe I'll catch you later. And I'm like, all right, you know, like I cheerfully always say, hey, if I'm around, I may get you back later, because I ride the wave of the algorithms. The algorithms show the Uber driver where to go. You don't really have a choice. I can deny stuff, but for the most part, you're sent by way of where the algorithms take you. So it's not uncommon that I would get somebody twice, like I end up with this guy. Drop the guy off at the unsavory bar. I get another call to take somebody just a few blocks. Like, it was a situation where they had to drop their car off at somewhere and then they had to go back to their house. It was a little quick 6-minute ride. Person was lovely, tipped me $5. That was fine. I drop off that person at their house. I get a call back to the first guy. Unsavory bar. Now, we talked about the sobriety. I left him and he's here. He gets back in the car and he's here. So he tells me that he wants to go to the second place, which is where he wanted to go originally. And I was like, no problem, that's fine. And so we leave the one bar, go to the next bar. I end the ride. That is a normal thing. As I say goodbye to somebody, I'm like, have a good night, maybe I'll see you later. You know, I actually was going to turn my light off completely because I wanted to get out of this part of town because it was starting to get busy over there. So I end the ride. And when I end the ride as an Uber driver, our connection is gone. Like, we're a thing of the past. You can't call me, I can't call you unless we're physically discussing it directly. We can try to reconnect, but it's not a guarantee. So he's 1 foot out the door. And for whatever reason, sobriety, it goes down to here. And he can't get out of the car. And I'm like, oh, great. Because at this point, we are no longer in an Uber scenario. I now have a stranger in my car in an unsavory bar. It's fine. I think about things like this all the time. We're navigating it. So I'm like, he's like, I think I just need to go home. Now, he doesn't live far away, and I remember where he lives. So I'm turning around and I'm anticipating for him to get back on his phone and connect us. Because the algorithms do what they do, they should connect us back. He's too drunk to operate his phone. This sucks. This sucks because at this point I'm babysitting him. I get a reasonable amount of conversation and a reasonable amount of patience with drunk people, but at this point, he's on my time and my dollar and my patience. So, we're not far from his house. His house is also somewhat near several other people I know. So I'm like, all right. So he's asking me if I can operate the phone. I can't drive and operate his phone to connect us in the Uber. I don't think I can physically babysit his inebriated self and do that. So I'm like, do you have cash? Do you want to Venmo me? Like, how can we make this right? He's like, I'm going to get you. And he's like, here. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, I know somebody. We pull back up to his house. I'm not getting paid for this. I've gone like 6 blocks. We pull up to his house, and at this point, I just need him to get out because I'm not getting paid, and I'm like up here agitated with him. So I was just like, get the f out of my car. And I didn't. There's people from my mother's church on this live, so we're not saying the F word, but I said the F word to him. My strategy was going to be, if he did not get out of the car, I had a friend that literally was 200 yards their property. So my intentions were going to be because think about this, he's down here. Like, I need him out of the car and into his house. He hasn't touched me. He hasn't like offended me personally. He's just like really gone. So I was going to give him a chance to get out before I then called for backup, because that would have been my only other recourse, as we are now 2 strangers in the car. Anyway, my strategy was going to be to go 200 yards to where my friend's property line was. I could see their fence. I was going to go behind the fence. It's dark. And then take my alarm in my car off and make the alarm go off until he got out of the car, which I could have almost guaranteed worked. Because here's another thing. He's literally wasting my time at this point. He's on my dollar. I could be taking suitable people from savory bars to savory other places, and he's in my car. All right. So after 2 get the f out of my car, he got out, and I didn't have to get out, and I didn't have to handle anything. At that point, I thought about sending some kind of a message to Uber to explain like what had happened, because his behavior was like, you can't act like that. Like, you can be drunk, you can be not like with the program, but you can't be to where you can't get out of the car. I realize now, and now forever and ever, I will now make sure that the person is 2 feet and butt out the car before I end the ride, so I don't end up stuck like this. But that's also for you guys too. I want you to know, if you're in an Uber, you're still in a situation with them until they hit end ride. But then once that's over, then it's done. So anything that happens after that, it's outside of Uber. So that was why I felt like I needed to handle it the way that I did. Had the individual acted any worse, I was close to other people. I also could have just driven him to a well-lit area and got out of the car. And I have thought about doing that before, but we were close to his house, and I was close to someone that I felt very safe with. I also did not feel in any danger from him. I felt like it was more likely that he was going to pass out in my car, and that I was going to need to call like medical attention for him. Because here's the thing, I'm not stupid, and I know how people act in bars. I have friends that go to bars. Sometimes I go to a bar. And when you're only going to a bar for a couple of minutes, you're already drunk, you intend to go to a different bar. It's not like that unsavory bar has some special drink you need. There's either somebody in there that you're trying to see for some unsavory reason, or something like that. There's not other reasons for that. So he was already asking me to do something that wasn't okay. But I don't know that I would have put all of that together had I not had him on both rides. Because it's uncommon, but not uncommon for me to do that if I'm still in the same area, to get somebody twice in one night. But he got out after the second get out of my car, and then later on he tipped me $8, because I considered calling Uber and just making a statement to say his behavior is so bad he could be a danger to other drivers. Because if there wasn't someone with my thought process, I might have gotten out at the second unsavory bar and just caused a scene, probably causing more attention to myself, putting myself in more danger about this situation. And then it would have escalated and the ride would have already been over. So I feel like I handled it the best way that I could. And I also feel like I learned that I want everyone to be 2 feet and butt out the door before I end ride, so that way I'm still covered under the Uber umbrella. But all is safe and unscathed, and like I said, the next day I saw that he'd tipped me a few dollars, and I was like, well, that made this a little bit better, because ultimately everyone was unscathed. But that's the first time in 1,870 rides that I've had to get someone like that I needed them to physically leave. I have threatened a couple of times, but that's been the worst of it. And it was a local. So locals, keep it together, keep it classy. I love you. If you need an Uber, don't drink and drive. I'm gonna go drink some more coffee and have my day. Thank you guys for watching.